What's up everyone? New video, new coin, it's Cyric here. Today I'm here to tell you about Qoge coin. Yep, it's like Dogecoin, but it's quantum. Anyway, I had a good friend of mine hit me up on Discord about a month ago, and the conversation went a little something like this.
Yo,
Yo,
what's good, bro?
what's good, man?
So you
Just
found another coin or something?
yeah, man. I was scrolling through trust pools just earlier, and I found this coin called Qoge coin.
Qoge
I
coin.
joined, yeah, I joined their Discord and kind of just to check out what it's about, and I started mining a little bit. Seems like it's I don't know, pretty cool coin.
I got you. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Like in the name, Qoge coin was inspired by Dogecoin, but it has a bit of a twist behind it, or in this case, a flip. God, I cannot believe I just said that. Before we dive in headfirst into this coin, I just want to say I hope I'm presenting enough information for you guys. Writing this script required a lot of digging for any info in the project since Qoge is still in its infancy. Also, please note, this video is aimed towards users with Windows 10 or 11. I'll leave timestamps in the description if you want to jump around to different parts in the video. Now that that's out of the way, let's dive into Qoge a little bit. Qoge's mainnet launched on
September 1st, 2021.
on its own brand new out-of-the-oven fresh blockchain. That's right, this isn't a token or a swap through Ethereum or Binance or something. It's on its own chain. The blockchain itself has some pretty standard features, and those include a block size of 100 Qoge, with a halving every 500,000 blocks. And with a block time of 60 seconds means the first halving event should be in just under a year. And to top it all off, Qoge has a total supply of just 100 million coins. I know that sounds like a lot, but I say it like that because it seems like every coin coming around seems to not have a cap at all, or its limit is crazy high. Now, the blockchain runs on the YesCrypt R16 algorithm, which is ASIC resistant, but what really makes this project interesting is its future implementation of post-quantum cryptography. There's an entire wiki page dedicated to explaining what this is. I'll link it in the description. But in short, it essentially prevents quantum computers from decrypting wallets and addresses. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Speaking of wallets and addresses, let's get into how to set up the wallet. First, go to the official Qogecoin website at qogecoin.org. This will bring you to the official Qogecoin core page, where you can also find links to the official Discord server and the official Bitcoin Talk forum thread, linked right here. I will also link these in the description. For a download to the wallet, you're going to click the GitHub link right here, and this will bring you to the official GitHub page for the project. Next, you're going to click this file here that says qoge.7zip. If you are a Linux user, you may need to compile from the source code provided below. Now, when you first download the wallet, depending on the browser you're using, I'm assuming most users here use Chrome, the download might be blocked because this program hasn't been downloaded a whole lot. Windows source code is available if you have any doubts that a virus might be present. So to keep the download, head over to the Chrome Downloads tab by pressing Ctrl-J. And then at the top, you're going to be clicking Keep Dangerous File. Again, this is a false flag. Attention. If you're familiar with Qt core wallets such as Reptorium or Ravencoin or Avian, for example, those are all birds, you can probably skip this section in the video. Anyway, now that we've downloaded the wallet zip file, place it in a directory that's most convenient for you, whether that be on your desktop in a folder titled Qoge wallet, for example, like I have here, or somewhere else like the documents folder or a crypto folder you already have other wallets for or something. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Once you extract the contents of the zip file you downloaded, you're going to see 4 programs in a DLL file. The program we're interested in is this one that says Qogecoin Qt. Go ahead and open it and a window will pop up asking where you want to save the blockchain to. This can be anywhere on your PC, but I highly recommend changing the default location to somewhere you know you can access it easily. As soon as you select a location for the blockchain data, the wallet will open up and it'll present a progress screen for the blockchain download. The wallet will need to fully sync with the Qogecoin network before you can send or receive coins to and from the wallet. Fortunately, however, you can still create a new wallet address before the wallet is fully synced up. You just won't be able to see transactions yet going to and from the wallet until the wallet is fully synced with the network, if that makes sense. So here's the overview tab where you can see the total amount of Qoge you have available in your wallet and see progress on the blockchain data. And to create a new address, all you need to do is click the hide button for this progress window and click on the receive tab. Next, in this label box at the top here, create a label for the new address. This makes organization for different addresses easier. However, this is of course optional. In my example, I'm going to call this Qoge guide address. Going a bit lower in the list of text fields, I highly recommend keeping the amount field blank, so there's no limit to how many coins you can receive. And the message field right here, this is also optional. In this example, I'm going to leave this blank. And to get your own unique Qogecoin address, simply click Request Payment. This will generate your brand new wallet address and will provide you with an address link, QR code, and the address in text form itself. You can use this address for basically anything where you need a Qoge address, like mining or receiving coins from an exchange. And that's pretty much it for creating a Qoge coin address. It's that simple. Now, the other tabs are pretty self-explanatory. The Transactions tab displays previous transactions between all of the addresses you have in your wallet and will label them as such. If you ever wanted to send coins, say to another user's address or an exchange, in the Send tab you will see all the info and text fields you need to do so. I'm not going to go into detail on this tab as this should be pretty self-explanatory at this point. Now, to encrypt your wallet to keep it safe against malicious software, if anybody has ever heard of Sheetcoin before, then you know what I'm talking about. It's incredibly easy to set up, and you need to do this step before you make a backup of your wallet. Side note, if you haven't done this for any of your other Qt wallets, I highly recommend doing so. All you need to do is click Settings and Encrypt Wallet. A window will pop up and will ask you to enter a passphrase. Please do not forget this passphrase or you will lose access to your entire wallet. By encrypting your wallet, every single time you try to send coins out of the wallet, you will have to provide the password you set. Once this is set, you can now create a backup of your wallet with encryption. To do this, simply go to File in the top left and select Backup Wallet. Here you can name your backup and choose where to save it to. Remember, this is a copy of your wallet address. The original copy is still in the directory that you saved the wallet's blockchain to, and will be titled wallet.dat. So in my example, I'm going to be naming it Qogecoin wallet backup. And then go ahead and click save. Now be sure to keep this wallet data file safe somewhere. I highly recommend either using cloud storage with a very secure password or simply using a USB drive. And that's pretty much it. There are a few small things I could talk about, like the wallet console or other settings, but for the average user, you shouldn't need to worry about this. So now you have your own unique Qoge address. Now with this address, you could buy some coins off of an exchange to fill your wallet, but what about mining? Like I mentioned previously, Qoge currently runs on a specific version of the YesCrypt algorithm and is CPU and Nvidia GPU mining only for the moment. Don't worry, an AMD GPU miner is currently in the works. Anyways, a tad bit of background on YesCrypt revealed that this algorithm isn't originally a proof-of-work algorithm, which may surprise some of you guys. To keep it brief, it's actually a password hashing algorithm, and is based on the original script algorithm, most notably used by Litecoin. The R in YesCrypt represents the size of the blocks operated by the algorithm, and in turn, increases memory usage. Don't get me wrong, having a more powerful CPU or GPU will increase your hash rate, but unlike some other algorithms like Ghostwriter, your memory frequency, timings, and capacity all greatly contribute to how efficiently you can mine YesCrypt. To prove this information, I decided to put it to the test. I switched out a few sticks of RAM in my Xeon-based mining rig, going from 8GB in dual channel to 16GB in quad channel, and I saw nearly a 65% increase in hash rate. And I didn't even mess with memory frequency. On my AMD Ryzen 5800X, I tested memory frequency and tried 2400 MHz versus 3200 MHz and saw an increase of about 25%. As you can see, your RAM configurations can make a big difference on YesCrypt. And even better, setting CPU affinity is also something you can do to optimize your power consumption and hash rate. Don't worry, we'll get into how this is done later. Okay, so now that that's covered, now as far as pools go, as of the posting of this video, the top pools for this coin at the moment are rPlant and Zerk pool. Unfortunately, it seems like there's quite an imbalance of hash rate across all the pools listed on miningpoolstats.stream. Now, I can't really give a recommendation on the best pools since I've only tried a couple of these pools over the course of about a month. So depending when you see this video, check out the mining pool stats page and try to join a pool that isn't in the #1 spot. There's nothing wrong with trying to even out the hash rate a bit, despite the coin being unaffected by a 51% takeover in hash rate. Hopefully that's enough to cover pools for you guys. You should be able to figure out the pool side of things on your own when setting up your miner. Now let's get into actually setting up the miner. We're going to set up CPU mining first and get to Nvidia GPU mining next. Now, there isn't an official miner that Qogecoin uses, but for CPUs, the miner I recommend using is SRBMiner. To get the miner, head over to SRBMiner.com, and from the main page, you're going to click on the download button, and then click download from GitHub. This will direct you to the official SRB GitHub page. I'll also leave a link for this in the description. Now, the latest miner that's currently being used is version 0.9.0. This just dropped. And what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down, and you're going to click on the Windows64.zip right here. This is the warning that I was talking about before when we were setting up the wallet. Go ahead and press Ctrl-J, and go ahead and click Keep. Now, once you have the miner in a location where you want to run it from, Go ahead and extract it and open up the folder, and you're going to see a whole different list of batch files to use. Now, there isn't a preset for Qoge specifically, so in this example, we're just going to go over to the Monero one, and we're going to click Edit. Now, in this notepad file, you're going to see a bunch of different arguments. The ones that we're going to focus on are the algorithm, the pool, and the wallet arguments. We can leave disable GPU alone. The algorithm that we are going to be using, as I've said before, is yescrypt R16. And for the pool in this example, I'm just going to go ahead and use the rplant pool. Again, this is just an example. And now for the wallet argument, we're going to be copying and pasting the address that you created from the wallet from earlier. We are going to simply highlight all of this and go ahead and paste. If you want to add a worker name to your miner, all you need to do is add a dot. And in this example, this is going to be for my Ryzen CPU, so we're just going to name this Ryzen. Now, the next two commands that we're going to be using are going to involve your CPU Affinity. The first one is going to be CPU threads. And again, the CPU thread number is going to be determined by your CPU Affinity. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how do I figure out my CPU Affinity? Remember that yescrypt R16 really likes actual cores, not hyperthreaded cores, which is different versus other algorithms like Ghostwriter or RandomX. So to set up CPU Affinity, I actually have a calculator that I'll link in the description. And using this tool is pretty easy. Now, up here, the number of CPU cores that you have is actually how many threads that you have on your CPU. So in my case, a 5800X, we have 16. And this is where things get interesting. This is where you can select which cores you want to dedicate Qoge mining to. I recommend leaving at least one actual core for system stability, and there isn't that much of a difference in hash rate, especially when you get to these higher core counts. So remember, yescrypt likes actual cores, so we're going to be uncheck marking all of the even number ones. And like I mentioned before, for system stability, we're going to uncheck this last one. So in my case, I have 7 CPU cores selected. And if you go to the bottom here and click calculate, this is the string that we are interested in. I wouldn't worry about CPU priority or anything like that. I have no idea if it actually improves your hash rate whatsoever, but I'm just keeping it on normal or default. So now that we have our CPU affinity string, we can go ahead and copy this and go back over to the QogeMiner batch file. And we're going to go ahead and type 7 for our CPU threads, because remember we selected 7, and we're going to paste. Now with this miner, you can also enable MSR. I don't believe there's a command for that, so simply run the miner in administrator mode. And now that we're finished with this, we are going to click File and then Save As, and we'll just name this Start Qoge Mining. Sure, why not? And make sure to add .bat at the end. Go ahead and click Save. Okay, now we can close out of all of this. Go up to our batch file that we just created. And we're going to right click and then click Run as Administrator. And as you can see, we're using 7 threads for CPU mining. And that's pretty much it for CPU mining. There's actually not that much more to it. Remember that CPU affinity here is definitely going to help your hash rate out. So there you have it. That's how to set up the CPU miner. But what about graphics cards? Now, as far as Nvidia cards go, there are a couple versions of the CCminer fork you can use. But the version I'm going to show you guys how to set up is the CCminer Klaus T yescrypt v10 fork miner compiled by Nemo's Miner. So to get this miner, head over to this GitHub page. I will link this in the description. And all we need to do is go down and click on the 7-zip file here. Now with this miner being from 2018, I'm sure there is a better miner out there that I don't know about, but setup should be mostly the same for a lot of these CCminer forks. Now once again, just like the CPU miner, once you have the downloaded 7-zip file, go ahead and stick it in a location where you're going to be running it from, and go ahead and extract it. Open up the folder. Now with this miner, there's actually no presets, so I'm going to show you guys how to make one. First we're going to do is just right click anywhere in the Windows Explorer window, go down to New, and then Text Document. Go ahead and name this whatever you want. I'm just going to name it Nvidia Qoge Start. Remember, we're going to be making a copy of this to convert over to a batch file. Now go ahead and open it, or right-click and edit. And on this first line, we're going to be doing :start. This is telling us to start a program. Press Enter. And on this next line, we're going to do CCminer.exe. This is telling the batch file to run this program. Now, the first argument we're going to be using is -a. This is your algorithm. So in this case, we're going to be doing yesScript R16. Now, the next argument is going to be our pool information. So we're going to type -o, and then go ahead and copy and paste the pool information that you'd like to use. Now, the next argument is going to be -u. This is our wallet information, and we are going to be copying and pasting that as well. And just like an SRBMiner, if you want to add a worker name, go ahead and separate that with a dot, and go ahead and type your worker name. In my example, I'm going to be using my RTX 2070 Super, so we'll do RTX 2070S. Now for the next argument, we're going to be using -d, which is devices. -d isn't needed on every single system out there, but for those of you that want to set up multiple graphics cards, use the device argument. In my example, I'll just be using 0 because that is the first graphics device that I have in my system. And -t, this is how many threads. All graphics cards are considered one thread, so we'll do -t1. Next, we're going to be using the -i command, which is intensity. Now, intensity is a little bit tricky with some cards. You can tweak this a little bit depending on your graphics card, and this number can be a range anywhere from 0 to 19. But from my experience, for best results, I highly recommend setting this to 11. Between my 2070 Super, my GTX 1060, and my GTX 1070, 11 seems to be the sweet spot. And that's pretty much it. If you wanted to fill in a pause, like there's an issue, go ahead and type pause 5 on this next line. And to have it retry, we can type go to start. I'm not a programmer by any means, so I'm hoping this explanation of what all of these arguments mean was a-okay. And now that we're finished with this, we can go up to File and Save As. I'm going to keep the name the same, and I'm going to type in .bat at the end. And that's pretty much it. We can close out of this and double-click our batch file. And as you can see, we now have the miner running. Now, RTX cards are pretty powerful when it comes to Qoge mining, and I think that has more to do so with very, very fast memory at a high frequency. So if you do have an RTX card, I highly do recommend trying out Qoge. As you can see, we're getting over 3,300 hashes per second at the moment, and this is at stock clock speeds. Now, as far as overclocking goes, if we look at MSI Afterburner here, as you can see, my clocks are completely stock. However, we're only using about 50 to 60% of our power usage, which is pretty impressive. So as far as overclocking goes, I don't think you really need to do anything here. I have messed with the memory clock a little bit, and I really didn't see any difference to your hash rate. And that's pretty much it. Happy mining, especially with those RTX cards. Okay, mining is covered. Moving on now. Let's say you're not a big fan of mining. The only other way to get Qoge without already having some is to buy it off of an exchange. As of the posting of this video, Qoge is currently listed on Xbitron and Finexbox, both with an extremely low 24-hour volume. And because of this low volume, you're gonna see some spikes on Qoge's chart. I wouldn't say these are, dare I say it, pumps and dumps, but to someone who's uneducated or new to trading, they might think this. For the moment, I wouldn't worry about price too much. I would consider this decently normal in my opinion because of that low volume. Now, I'm currently not on either one of these exchanges, maybe in the future, but I know someone that uses Xbitron from time to time, and they've said they haven't had any issues with it. There's currently about 19% of the total supply in circulation as of the posting of this video, so I think there's definitely some whales just holding for now. Again, I wouldn't worry about price too much right now. So let's say you have some coins in your wallet, either by mining or buying from an exchange, and you wanted to use those coins to make even more coins. Well, there is a staking pool run by Udondax. They also have a Reptorium staking pool, by the way. But unfortunately, staking availability is extremely limited, and this is entirely run by a third party. So this isn't an official means to stake your Qoge coins. I also have no idea how it works on Udondax, so I won't cover this in great detail, but it is there. So finally, you're probably asking yourself, okay, now I know how to mine and where to buy this coin. This dude's telling me a bunch of stuff. But why should I spend my precious computer hardware or dollar bills on a meme coin like Qoge? So far, the best thing about this coin is that in its current state, it doesn't try to be anything really. For example, the white page is literally a description for an energy drink, and the Windows compiling section is telling you to not even bother. Sounds like the perfect recipe for a meme coin if you ask me. However, on the back end of things, Qoge really does have some seriousness to it, and that's with the post-quantum cryptography that I talked about before. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Qoge aims to make a quantum-resistant blockchain from fear that quantum computers could decrypt blockchain information and other stuff like wallets and addresses with coins in them. If a quantum computer really was capable of decrypting a blockchain, it's possible that all of crypto would come crashing to the ground, as no one's coins on any blockchain would be safe from quantum computers. Now, of course, this is hypothetical. We don't actually know what quantum computers are capable of yet. I mean, even take a look at the Genesis block on the Qoge blockchain. The devs know this. Quantum computing still isn't very common in 2022, but Qoge does want to solve this potential problem. Now, with that said, I haven't heard of any cryptocurrency in any form having this kind of resistance. With Qoge being open source and with no centralization, this coin could revolutionize the crypto space entirely with this kind of advancement. I hope that little bit of due diligence makes sense to everyone. Now, we have talked about what it's about and what it's capable of, but what about the community that's behind it? The community is mainly centered around Discord, but there is some history of conversation over on the Bitcoin Talk forum thread. The Discord is a bit slow, but that's expected as it isn't a very large community. Not gonna lie, this Discord server reminds me of the early days of Raptorium. A lot of the information from this video is actually from the Discord itself. Now, talking about the Discord overall, there isn't that much to say about it, but overall, it's a pretty simple Discord without roles and fancy text channel layouts, and it's easy to keep up with. I honestly don't mind it being like this for now. I'll admit I'm not in the Discord too often, but I can't wait to see this community grow when people realize what this coin is really capable of. Okay, this video is probably getting really long, so to wrap things up, I don't think this is a coin you should commit your precious computer hardware to try and make a profit from. The project is too small for that in my opinion, but I would seriously consider speculative mining, especially with such a low coin cap. Like I've mentioned multiple times now, this is of course hypothetical and all theoretical, as we don't actually know what quantum computers are truly capable of yet, but I'm willing to take a bet on Qoge. I'm really sorry if I missed something. I'll try and link it in the description if I did. I hope you guys found this guide useful, and if you didn't like it, let me know in the comments because YouTube is stupid and removed the dislike button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.